Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Micah from Sapulpa Times.
And Lucy with the City of Sapulpa.
And welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are enjoying what started out as a pretty wet Friday. It looks like the rain has stopped and the sun may be starting to kind of come out, or maybe it's just I don't know, clouds. Little,
It was raining and sunny when I
uh,
was walking
I
over
hate
here.
that. I don't like it to be raining and sunny.
I
That's
know it's
like the
weird.
weird, um, that's like a weird Beauty and the Beast kind of weather. I'm not down with that.
Yeah. When I woke up this morning, it was still dark outside because it was so rainy.
Hmm.
It was great.
That's hard to get up on a day like that when, you expect the sun to be at a certain level to help you wake up. You get up, you're in the shower, you fall asleep again because it's dark outside.
Yeah.
So your body is like, what are we doing right now? It's
I know I was trying to get Hudson to brush his teeth because we had to leave because he's going to art camp. And he was like, Mom, it's still dark outside. No, it's not.
and it's just rainy.
It's just
Sorry, son.
rainy.
It's just cloudy. Yeah,
Yeah.
we missed all of that rain in April, so I guess we're getting it at the end of May on Memorial Day weekend. So if you were paying attention to the countdown, the graduation just happened yesterday. It was a fantastic time. I was not there, but my wife was,
Oh,
and she said, shockingly, that they just about filled up the Maybe Center.
that's awesome.
I was not expecting that at all. That was
Yeah.
crazy. But if you're watching the countdown video, you get to watch as they did the confetti and stuff, which
That
was really
was
cool.
so much confetti. I was watching that.
It
It
was a
was
lot.
a
Yeah,
lot.
it was a lot. Um, Along that same note, while we're talking about the weather, I guess, I'll also mention, so it was raining this morning when we did Free Coffee Friday, which I don't think you made it over there, did you? Did you still?
Like right before I came over here.
Oh, okay. How busy was it when you were over there?
It wasn't very busy.
Okay, not that busy. It was kind of a smaller crowd today. I think the rain kept a lot of people in, but want to encourage you. Rain or shine event that happens all the time. So be sure to come and check out Free Coffee Friday. But while we're talking about the rain, today we're looking at. I think it's. I personally think we're done with rain for the day until much later, until later tonight. I was even looking, and it looks like we're even going to see a little bit of sun right before it goes down. Um, However, it's going to start raining again, probably late tonight while you're all sleeping. And then there's rain chances throughout the day on Saturday as well. And then on Sunday, it looks like they decrease. And so I guess that kind of makes us wonder now what's going to happen with Memorial Day weekend and with baseball. We didn't put this on the notes, but do you have any plans for Memorial Day? You'll be off work that day, and you guys going to do a barbecue or anything?
I'm just really hoping there's some sunshine so I can sit by the pool.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's
That's my plan.
okay. That's
Sit by the pool, get some sun.
yeah. I know that on usually at church, if my pastor would crack a joke about on Memorial Day or maybe Labor Day, he's like, "Oh, hey, nice to see all of you guys here. You must not have a boat, and that's why you came to church on Sunday."
That's so true. That is true. Actually, we don't have service on Sunday, and so they're doing like a church-wide skate party for Memorial Day. And so
A skate party?
yeah, so those that don't have a boat still have something to do. And
That's funny.
yeah.
That's cool. Are you going to participate in that? Are you a skater?
No. I used to rollerblade in college when I was bored
Okay.
or needed something to do, but it's been a few years since I've been on some skates, and I just don't know that I'm going to be dumb enough to put them back on.
Uh, I don't know about if dumb is the right word. Brave.
Micah, I fall up the stairs. I broke my toe because I tripped over a barricade, or not a barricade, a forklift at the parade.
You broke your toe?
Yeah,
I didn't even know this happened.
yeah.
Was this last year at Christmas or something?
Not last year, the year before. Yeah. Remember I tore my arm all up and was in a brace? I fell over a forklift.
No, I didn't realize that. Oh my
But
gosh.
I'm not putting skates
Yeah.
on.
So, did you get hazard pay with? Was that for the Christmas shoot or Jingle
as at
Bells
the
or something?
Christmas parade.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So she's not putting skates on. I think we've ruled that out. Otherwise, she'll be showing up here in a full body cast by the
Yeah,
next time we do our show.
probably.
So, but Hudson, does he have fun on the
He
skate?
loves
He
skating.
does?
Yeah,
Okay.
he prefers ice skating over roller skating, but
I don't understand that at all. First of all, ice skates, you're like 100% more likely to get something sliced off with ice skates. Have you ever had your hand ran over by an ice skate?
no.
Me neither, and I never want to.
Uh,
It's not something you have to worry about with roller skates. I mean, the worst you have to worry about in roller skates is your hand being crushed,
yeah, that's true.
but you will still have a hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he prefers ice skates over
Mhm.
roller skating.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
So we'll see.
to each
I'll
his
just
own, I
cheer him
guess.
on
Yeah.
from the side.
That's all you gotta do.
Yeah.
Yeah, just cheer him on. Go, kid. Good job.
Yeah.
Don't get your hand sliced open. So yesterday, Lucy and I hung out for quite a bit. She had to rush out in kind of a hurry because she had to go do the women's luncheon. How did that
Mhm.
go, Luce?
Yes, it was a lot of fun. We got to go out to the Synergence Distribution Center, which if you have not gotten to go, I will say that Joni posted on her personal Facebook today that if you want a tour, reach out and she would love to show it to you. So that was really cool. They have officially moved all of their manufacturing to Oklahoma. They are no longer working out of California at any capacity. And so to be able to walk through the warehouse and kind of see where all of that's packaged and put together was really cool. We got to hear Joni's heart, not only behind the company, but behind her move and behind everything they do here in town. And so it was really fun.
Good deal. And the women's luncheon, is that something that you guys do? They do it once a year at least, right?
I think it's twice a year.
Twice a year.
Hmm.
Okay, good deal. Well, the next time that you guys have one, we will be sure to help promote that. And I mean, it sounded like it was still pretty close to a sold out event, I think.
Yeah, I think that there was 100 registered, and I don't know that there was an open seat in the room, so
Okay,
it's pretty good. I
good.
think maybe a couple, but definitely not very many. So everyone was very excited to go and eat some good food.
So, were you as surprised as I was the first time I went in there about how big that distribution center is? I don't know how far back she took you in there, but
So, yeah, we didn't get to go through the entire thing on Wednesday just because
okay.
there's certain areas that are not fully um, unpacked
Yeah,
and organized and things like that. And so, but yeah, it is very big and
I think it's one of those places that's bigger than it looks from the outside, I think, because you see the frontage of it and then it just goes so far
yeah,
back.
and you just keep going. Like she's like, "Oh, there's this side," and we do blah blah blah, and then you turn and you're just like, "Oh my gosh, keep going." And she's like, "And we'll go through this door, and we'll go through this door." So yeah, it was awesome.
Yep. And you wonder about how to get out of there. Okay, so there's the new scam that it has hit the area here. I put out a story about this yesterday. I'm gonna talk about this for just a minute. So this was I have heard of these scams before. Like we get like a Facebook post or something from the Creek County Sheriff's Office about, hey, there's a scam. Somebody's pretending to be us. Don't believe it. Or you're going to get a ticket and they're going to arrest you if you don't pay it. This one here was a lot more sophisticated. I spoke with this lady yesterday, and if you want more details, it's on the story at sapulpatimes.com. But to give you an overview of it, this woman got a phone call that her son was in jail, and this person that called was offering something called pretrial services, and they were saying that if your son is eligible for an expedited rehab program, and she did not even know that her son had been arrested, and it turned out that he was still in booking when they called her.
Oh
And
wow.
so I mean they got that information quick and said, hey, your son qualifies for a expedited rehab program. It'll only cost $650.12. Very specific number. I thought that was interesting. But and he'll have to have an ankle monitor, and Creek County Sheriff's Department will transport him to the rehab at midnight tonight when he gets released. And thankfully, she had been through this situation a couple of times. It was not the first time that her son had been arrested, she said.
Okay.
And she'd been through it a couple of times where she knows that nothing, if there's any kind of a deal or anything like that, it never happens this fast. It is always days, weeks, sometimes months before any kind of a deal gets worked out. So she was already skeptical. And she said, "Well, I can't afford that." And so they said, "Well, hold on, you might you might qualify for a hardship deferral program. So I'm going to put you on hold real quick and go see if you qualify for that." And so it's interesting that they are like removing all the friction here. They really want you to sign up for this thing. And then while they were on hold, she had her daughter call the Creek County Jail to find out, hey, is my son arrested? Yes, he is. Well, I mean, is this a real thing right here that they're talking to me about? No, that's not one of our people. That's a scam. And then before the person even came back, they hung up. And so the call got disconnected. And then she talked to her son, and then less than 24 hours later, she got another call from someone else pretending to be pretrial services. This person gave a name and a phone number to call back on and was much more professional and more pleasant to speak with. And it also ended up being a scam. And they came, but they approached it from a different angle. It's like, oh, no, it's not a rehab thing. This is more of a social work kind of deal. And they never really got to a point where they were talking about any kind of payment for anything. The call got disconnected again before that happened, but she called me and said, "I really want to put the word out about this," because she said it came across as so legitimate that she's really worried that someone who had not already been through her experiences might have easily fallen for it. She said the first thing she did was she called her mother-in-law and said, "Mom, if somebody called you, don't give them any information, don't give any money." And she's like, "Man, I'm glad you called because I'd have been reaching for my credit card."
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've heard before about the scams now, AI generated scams and stuff where they're pretending to be your
Mm-hmm.
son or something, and they're called saying, "Hey, I need bail money." And I mean, we've already got to watch out for that. But she made a really good point here. She said when she said, like I said, she'd been through this before with them, and she said when you have a family member who is an addict, the families are victimized by that person's addiction as much as anybody. And that you want that person to get clean and to get help. And so she said, when you want your child to get help and you are desperate, and maybe it's the first time and you're shocked and stunned, you will reach for the first thing that looks like a lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's worried that like some first time parent or something is going to get a phone call like this and they're going to end up forking over $1,000 or something to a scam, thinking that they're helping their child. So anyway, you guys be sure to go read that story on Sapulpa Times. A lot more detail on there. Really grateful that Kara shared that story with us, and hopefully it helps some other people out. After we put this out, someone else said that they had gotten a similar phone call. And I think that it also got disconnected before it was able to stop, or before they were able to make any kind of a payment or anything. But it was not great. So I mean, it's fortunate that it worked out as well as she did, and I'm really glad that she came to us about
Mm-hmm.
um, that. So anyway, I don't know. Did the city ever do anything with the Creek County Sheriff's Office is the one we hear the most about, but I don't know if things come across the desk at the city about scams and stuff that are going on.
Yeah, we get some phone calls and stuff, and our police department does a really good job of like notifying outward. I think they have some different avenues that they do that, and I've seen them on their Facebook a few times. But I will say that a lot of people call the sheriff's office because it's usually has to do with like county court. Like we have a jail, but we don't have a big jail. So a lot of times when these scams are going on, it's because they're people that are in county jail
Okay,
or things like that. Um, I mean, there's other scams that happen, not just with the jails, but most of the time they call the courthouse or the sheriff's office or something like that.
okay. Um, well, stay vigilant, guys. It's crazy how
Mm.
much more prevalent these things are becoming now with AI and
Hmm.
It's bonkers. So just stay aware. And I think. Oh, I will say this. One other thing that this lady said that I thought was a really good point. She said, "Stay vigilant," and she quoted scripture. She said, "We're called to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves," and that if this is a legitimate thing, it will stand up to your scrutiny. And so you can do your due diligence, you can ask questions, and you can feel comfortable with what you're doing if it's a legitimate offer or something that they're making. So, anyway, you guys stay vigilant and stay aware about what's happening there because it is happening a lot more, it seems like. So, okay, moving on to the other story. So on Monday we had I guess what is probably a final decision coming from the city council regarding our fireworks program and the possibility of doing a fireworks show. And so, Lucy, what do we have about that? What did they
Yeah,
say?
so on Monday night, there was a contract for fireworks on the council agenda, and there was some discussion at study session what that contract looked like and what it would look like to host a fireworks show. And so, after some discussion at study session, when the contract came up during the actual council meeting, it was voted against by council. And so, at this time, city will not be hosting a fireworks show.
Will not. Okay. I know it's going to be a bummer for a lot of people because when we put the story out earlier about whether they were looking at it, there were a lot of people who were like, hey, 250th anniversary,
Hmm.
definitely want to have fireworks. And I understand where they're coming from there, but when you and I sat and talked about this,
Hmm.
it was like I became a lot more understanding of the situation the city was in. Being able to pull something like that off, I think, takes a lot more than what most people realize.
Yeah, and when the topic came up, we were very optimistic in making it work and what it would take and the manpower that it required. And so, as we continued to dive in and dig into it and do our research and be able to be prepared completely for the entirety of the event, it just comes down to we don't have the manpower at the city, and so this is something that would require a partnership and a big partnership.
Hmm.
It is a dedication and it's not show up, light the fireworks and leave.
No,
Um,
it's like a
it,
multi-day event,
it
really.
is, and there's a lot of setup and there's a lot of tear down and then there's a lot of cleanup. And so it's just not something that we can do on our own.
No, it's not. One thing, this sounds funny. I want to defend the city a little bit on this because it sounds funny with as many parks and stuff as we have. But I was talking with her, like having a good location for this. Traditionally, everybody would park over at Walmart and then would go off at the golf course. But when you started explaining to me what was required for that, you had to like tape off everybody's home so people wouldn't park in people's yards and park on the golf course and all of these other things that were involved in that, and really became a lot more clear to me about what all's involved. I mean, I started to be pretty sympathetic. And then I got to thinking, that maybe they're just not a great spot to do it from.
Hmm.
I mean, even like when they did the drone show,
Hmm.
people would park over at Reese's or would have to be shuttled in,
Hmm.
so maybe it's something that could be planned for the future or something. And I guess if you guys want to see that, be sure to reach out to your city councilors and say, hey, we really want to see a place that's dedicated for something like this, where you can bring in a big crowd or something. But that doesn't mean nothing's going to be happening. So I do know that the TP Drive-In does a small fireworks show around that time. And of course, there's going to be, it is the 250th birthday of our nation. So there's going to be tons and tons of firework options
Hmm.
around, and we'll be sure to share some of those with you when we get closer to it. But
Yeah.
it won't be a um, a big, official show here in Sapulpa.
And I will say, like, I understand that there's a lot of community citizens that really wanted to see a fireworks show. And,
Mhm.
as somebody that lives in Swelpa, I also wanted to see a fireworks show. So I do get that. And, please don't call your city council and say, I wanted a fireworks show, boo you. If you're going to reach out because you wanted something like this to happen, I just encourage you to reach out and be willing to help with something like this. Um, just because, like I said, it's not something that can be done just with city manpower, and it does require a partnership. And so, if you are calling or reaching out to your city council, like, I just encourage you to do so kindly, but also, um, be willing to participate in some way to help out, whether that's, helping with parking or, offering some suggestions of a location, like other locations and ways that you can help out as well, because it was not an easy decision for them. I know there was some of them that were upset to have to vote no. I won't say they had to. They had the choice, but just not being able to execute it and give it the energy and effort that it needed with the power that the manpower that the city has. So please don't call and harass your city council, especially if you're not willing to dedicate some of your time as well.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I think that's a good point to make. Uh, I don't know how many of you guys are aware of, and I don't want to like spill too much in terms of like of what was going on before. But when this was a American Heritage Bank
Hmm.
event, it took a lot of effort and volunteers and stuff to make that happen. And they had somewhat of a pretty good sized employee pool to draw from
Hmm.
there. And so that's probably the biggest hurdle is when you said it's a manpower issue, it's not just like city staff and police, but I mean the volunteers to be able to pull something like this off. And I think it's funny because I'm sure that some folks are going to say, "Hey, well, we do the Christmas shoot with like 1,000 volunteers. Why can't we do one fireworks show?" And this particular year, it's a bigger challenge because we've got the Roscoe on Route 66 happening the very next day. And so we've already got a lot of volunteers that are being pulled for that. Police are being pulled for that. They're going to have to be paid for. I mean, there was just a lot in it. And so ultimately, that's, I think, what led to the city council decision. So, but it's like you said, if you're going to come at us with how upset you are about it, at least be willing to help when the time comes. So the volunteers are always needed. So maybe next year we'll get the opportunity to do that, and you can be a part of it. So, all right. The last thing I wanted to remind, this is kind of brand new. I just found out about this morning. This bake sale that's happening over at the Make Sense Foundation. Do you know about that?
No.
So I ran into Jordan Asensio at Free Coffee Friday this morning. And apparently it's for the Kellyville Color Guard. They get the opportunity to go to Indianapolis and they need to raise some money for them to be able to go. And so they're doing a bake sale at the mansion, and they're also giving tours of the mansion and stuff. So it's a great opportunity. A couple things. If you've not been to the mansion and have not gotten that tour, it is well worth going. And it's only $5 to do the tour. Go ahead and do that. Well worth doing it. But the bake sale, I saw some of the pictures there, and look, I am a red-blooded American man, okay? But I like chocolate. And I saw some I'm gonna go after the show's over, I'm going over there to get
Okay.
chocolate. I'm gonna clean them out probably. So go over there while you can. Hopefully you'll beat me there and you'll get some some good looking treats. I mean, they really look good.
Sounds
So
good.
are you going to? She's
No.
going to. She's not going. She's not a sweets person.
No.
That's what it is. So if they were doing a bake sale that was like just plain white bread, Lucy would be all over that.
I don't eat bread.
If they were doing a bake sale that was, I'm gonna guess it. Let's if it was let's see if it was Dr. Pepper and if it was bubbly soda, the poppy,
Yeah, there you go.
that's what she drinks,
Yep.
and and plain white rice. Then it was, I guess yeah. All right.
I would say if it was like chips, like potato chips,
Okay,
or
potato
like
chips, not tortilla chips, huh?
no, or like
Okay.
a Cheez It.
Cheez-Its?
Hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna get us a bowl and we're just gonna like snack during our show. Big Cheez-It fan. Do you
Big
like
Cheez It.
goldfish or do you like
I
Cheez-It?
love gold. I like both.
Do you?
Either
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Now I when it comes to Cheez-Its, who now needs to sponsor the show that we're doing this, but I'm a big fan of the extra toasty.
Ew!
You don't like the extra toasty
They're
Cheez-Its?
the worst.
They're the best.
They're the worst.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. I don't know if we can be friends anymore, guys. We're gonna have to duke it out over this.
Those are not good.
Those are so good.
Mm-mm.
That was the best thing that Cheez-Its ever came out with is
No.
doing extra toasty
Mm-mm.
in the big family size. And I mean, I will eat enough for a whole family. You put that box in front of me, and I
Yeah.
will have
Well,
me a good time.
you can have them.
I
I'm not
will.
buying them.
Fine. She can have the plain stale regular ones, and I'm gonna eat the extra toasty. So okay. Well, I didn't have the Cheez-It fight of 2026 on my bingo card today, but It's been good. So
Oh,
anyway,
good.
Lucy, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Want to let everybody know that starting next week, we're actually going to be moving the times of the show, the days of the show. Instead of being a Monday, Wednesday, Friday event, we're going to switch it to being a Tuesday, Thursday show because we're starting to integrate more with the newsletter and more than we want to do with other interviews and stuff I'm doing with other people. Plus, Lucy's frequently not able to be here on a Monday where it's a holiday or something, which Memorial Day is coming up. And so that's not actually the big reason that I moved it. I wanted to just try some different things. So starting next week, we're going to be moving the show to Tuesday, Thursday, and it'd be a nice kind of, middle of the week break to kind of keep you in the loop on what's happening in the town that we love. So you guys be looking forward to that. And I will see you guys again on Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in to the Time Loop Live, where we talk about all things happening in the town that we love. We'll see you on Tuesday of next week. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.